Welcome back to the last and final part of how to paint Ghazghkull for Twisted Dice. Now, if you like the content that we're pushing out at Twisted Dice at the moment, don't forget to hit the like on the videos. More importantly, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And of course, if you've been working on Gaz yourself, please feel free to come join us on the Twisted Dice Facebook page or group and come share your artwork. We'd love to see what everyone else has been doing, especially on how you painted Ghazghkull. Okay, so for the next stage, we're going to go for the horns. So we're going to start off with rock side first of all. As you can see from the paint, it's kind of it's a thickish paint. Hopefully you can see that. Not too thick, but just enough to give it enough. So at this point, there's not a lot of detail on the actual bone itself. Give that a try and we'll give them another coat. Next up, we're going to be adding talon sand to the Rhinox hide, 50-50. But we're going to start watering down the mix to more like a glaze, and we're going to build this up over several different layers just to give that nice smooth blend in between colours. Talon sand was then applied on its own. Again, keeping to that thin coats just to get that blend nice and smooth. Next stage, I'm going to be adding the Screaming Skull into the Talon sand. Okay, so as you can see, I've finished off using as best as I can with the bone. So I'm now going to go back in with the Rhinox side hide. And I'm just going to water this down to like a glaze. And what I'm going to do is, you can see from the paint, it's kind of absorbing quite well. So all I want to do now is just darken up the tips again. Now, I don't want to go too thick. I want that blend just to go in nicely. And that's it, the horns are done. Once you go over a matte varnish, that'll pull those transitions in quite nicely. So that's it. So next up, we're going to start working upon the chip effects. So as you can see here, we've already got the rust where we've done earlier on, where it starts to come through. So the colours we're going to use, some gunmetal grey. We're going to be using the Waaagh hide again, and we're also going to go in nice and bright with some chrome. So let's get these onto the palette. So let's go in with the gunmetal first. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull that. Let's get that sorted. Okay, make sure we take off the excess. And then we're just going to put that straight in. So all you really want is just a little bit of the orange showing. Not too much. Again, that could be more down to your preference as well. And then going in with the chrome. Let's see if I can get this just back in focus a little bit. So you see, just got the orange at the line, and then that silver is just going to give it that little bit of depth into it. So we'll show you one. So where we've done the red earlier on. So we're going in with the rock side next. Then we're going to go in with the chrome. It does look pretty awesome. Just breaks up a little bit more, gives that a little bit more character to it. So these ones are tried up earlier on. So this is where I've just gone straight in with the chrome, straight onto the orange itself. So I haven't got any brown, which kind of looks alright. I think I will go back in there and just put a bit of brown, just add a little bit more depth and texture into that. Hopefully that's not too blurry. The gun, we're going to be going in with copper. So then like the plate, we've gone with copper. All the ammunition, I'm just going straight in with the copper. There we go. Now at this point here, don't worry if you get the paint onto those bits there, we can tidy that up afterwards. When you're painting with golds, metallics and stuff like that, you can easily get it over other bits. But at the end of the day, just remember it is paint. Paint you can always correct, and you can always make that right afterwards. So we'll let that dry. Next up, we're going to go in with sepia. Now the sepia, I'm just going to go straight out of the bottle, and I'm going to sit that onto the ammunition. Now I'm not worried too much if it discolors the copper, because we're going to go back over it afterwards and just kind of like do a slight little dry effect. Okay, so then back in with the copper. Which is then going to tidy that up. So as you can see, the sepia is kind of giving that a little bit of character into the copper. So we've got a nice open ammunition, and that's it. And then this panel here, you could do that way if you want. I just wanted that to break up the gun, so it just gave a little bit more character to it. You could leave it black and then just weather it up if you choose to, but for me, I just wanted to do that nice copper effect just to make that stand out. Too much of the black is going to make the model look boring. So then again, the other parts, I've already done these, the silver, the dark gunmetal grey, and then just underneath I've just gone in with the chrome, and then just done some sepia up into the corners there, and then like all the pipes again, we've just gone straight in there with the copper, with the chrome, and then some of them just gone over the sepia. Sepia is a really cool colour because it kind of makes silver turn into a coppery feel, which looks really cool. And then like with that, if we want to highlight that up, all we do with the copper, we'll just add a little bit of that into the silver and the copper together, and then we can just run that down, and then that'll give it that little bit of extra definition onto the actual model itself, so it looked like it's actually got that little bit of gleam, a little bit of shine to it. I think it looks awesome. And what we're going to also do is just add a little bit of that top of the guns. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in with lead belcher, bit of sponge. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to start tapping up. Just keep going with the sponge until I get it to the where. So if I can get that up, you can just kind of see it. Kind of gives that rough metal effect where it's just been like been constantly used. So you've got like all the grooves and all the dirt and everything getting in between it and like little scratches. So it kind of give like the effect that it's kind of been like. He's been grabbing out of stuff, and he's been grabbing out of like rhinos and tanks and stuff like that, and chucking his weight around. So you've got then the dark underneath. It kind of gives the effect of like the slight battle damage, or the damage it would cause from use. You just want to get it, keep going until you get it to where you want it to be. Again, don't be afraid. If you go too far and you want to take it back, you can just go back in with a darker silver again. And that's it. And that's how I do pretty much my metal effects. You see, it's kind of got like that beaten effect. So it's not clean metal. It looks like it's been really, really beaten. So when he's holding it, you can see where all the damage is. So I'm going to go a little bit further in. I want to get it into those gaps there. Just want to make that look a little bit more. And if you want to, if you feel brave, you can go possibly in with a little bit of the chrome. It just depends on yourself, on this, your personal preference. You can just go in with the chrome, and you can just do just a tap. And that's it, done. Nice and easy. So you kind of got the chrome to the highest points. Let me just see if I can adjust that slightly. Knock that down a little bit. And that's it. So you've got that like real beaten up, scratched metal where he's been gripping all the stuff. And that's it. So all we're going to do now, we're going to start working upon the edge highlighting. And we're getting to the point. So okay, so next up we're going to start doing the armor plates. So we're just going to start doing all the edge highlighting. So we're going to start off with the fang first of all. And then all we're going to do is just going to go onto the edge. Let's try and get this into the middle of the screen. As you can see, I've kind of still gone for I haven't gone for a thick coat. I like my my blends to be smooth transition. I don't like the hard. I don't like that. And then when you go that, actually to be fair, they blended in quite nice. But I don't like it when the blend's not nice in the highlight. I like it to be a smooth transition in between. So what I've got is I've got the fang. I've also got I'm then going with rust grey and then the Fenrisian grey. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, I've gone in there with the rust grey. Now I'm just going to go in with the Fenrisian grey. I'm just going to go for that, just that final tad. So repeat the process. So going in with the fang first of all. So going along those parts there, and then straight in with the fang. And then straight in with the Fenrisian. And as it starts to dry, it should blend in quite nicely. And again, once we go over the matte varnish, that will help the colours actually go in together as well, which would be quite cool. So next up, we're going to be going through how I done all the edge highlighting on all the red. Now, unfortunately, Games Workshop has discontinued doing the edge highlighting paint, or I can't seem to get it anymore on their main website. You might be able to still purchase it off eBay or places like that. If you aren't able to get hold of this paint, no worries, no dramas. What you can either do is go with the Jericho orange, or even possibly even go with the Fire Dragon bright orange as well. The two of those colours would work absolutely perfectly fine. So because the red glazes are no longer available from Games Workshop, what I've used is one of the contrast red, the Blood Angels red, and all I've done is watered this down with just plain water. So just like doing the orc flesh, the paint is really, really thinned down, so it's hardly anything at all. And all I've done is a couple of layers, and what that helps is it pulls those transitions in, and it gives it a real nice, vibrant red. Create that lovely, awesome shadow effect, make it pop a little bit more. I used a Guilliman blue contrast paint, and all I've done is, again, just like the previous red, I've just watered this down and let it pool in the corners, and then just done a couple of layers.
We're going to be going in with Vallejo game color, and it's that one. I just go by the colours, I don't go by the names. So I'm going to do that a couple of times until I get a nice even coat. Okay, so while we're still at these early stages, I'm going to start doing the eye. Now, for this, I'm going to be using my special tool. So for this part, we're just going to start doing the eye, and we're going to be going in with the ivory bone from Vallejo. We can get that up. Put the eye in there. Now I'm doing this now. The only reason why I'm doing this now is for when I start doing all the rest of the highlighting on the flesh. If I make a mistake, I can tidy it up here and now. So I'm just going to add a little bit more white to it, a little bit more bone to it, sorry. For the black dot, we're going to be going in with contrast black. Now I'm going to go straight from the pot. I'm just going to take off the excess. Hopefully this one catches on camera. So now we can safely do the flesh, no worries. So what we're going to do, we're going to start adding the 50-50 of the SE 43 in with the Waaagh flesh, and that's going to be 50-50. And again, we're going to go for a watery version just so we can do a couple of thin layers. So we're going to do a couple of thin coats just so it's nice.
So before we go any further with the green on the flesh, let's go straight in with Screamer Pink so we can get in there and do his mouth and tongue. I ain't even gonna bother trying to attempt to name this flesh. GW absolutely kill me when it comes to naming their pots of paint, and some of them are real tongue twisters, so I do apologise, but that's the flesh I'm going to be using for this. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to slowly start adding this into the Screamer Pink to start building up that fleshy type, like the tongue effect in the actual model. Totally up to yourself on this, on how much of the flesh you want to keep adding into the mix. I kind of ended up going 50-50 of the flesh to the Screaming Pink, and that came up quite nicely. But don't forget to do the gums as well, that's really important on this stage. Talon sand was then added to the teeth. When applying the Talon sand, just make sure that you give a good couple of coats to make it a nice, strong, rich Talon sand colour. Screaming Skull was then applied to the mix, exactly the same as we've done with the horns. Now, just to brighten those teeth up a little bit more, we're going to be going in with the bone ivory, more just towards the tip of the teeth itself, just to make it stand out a lot more. So next up, we're going to be using the Beltane Green wash, and we're just going to apply that all over the fleshy parts of the model itself. So the highlighting that we've already got in place, we'll just pull those colours in. So next up, we're going to be using this scale colour green SE43. Going to go for a glaze effect again, making sure that paint is really, really thinned down. Because we're trying to look for a nice smooth transition in between the colours, you can see how much paint is actually on the brush. As you can tell, there's not a lot of paint on there, it's very, very watered down. But what we're going to do, we're going to build this flesh up in lots of multiple layers. One of the tricks I'm going to say again, use a hairdryer, and this will speed that process up.
Okay, as you can see from a couple of different layers added onto Gaz, he's improved quite a lot. So we've cleaned up all the makeup, so he's no longer got the face paint on, and all I've done is loads and loads of very, very watered down glaze effects on the actual paint just to build it up. And that, what I'll do, that'll give it a nice smooth transition. That's what I'm after, a nice smooth transition. Don't worry so much underneath the chin, because you're not really going to see that. So just having the darker green underneath will be absolutely fine, because that's where the shadow is going to sit. And again, there you're not really going to see it, because again, it's going to be sat underneath the actual, in the actual jawline itself, so you're not going to see it. Cool, right, so now we're going to go in with a little bit brighter green, and these are going to be your final highlights. So I'm going to be going in with, I don't even know what that one is, so we're going to go in with the Game Colour 72732. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix that in, so 50-50 in with the previous green. Again, we're going to have that watered down. As you can tell, that's going to get a lot brighter.
So for that final highlight, just going in with the brighter green, and this is just on its own, and again just watered down. Looking upon the protective headgear Ghazghkull's wearing, I was thinking about doing this leather, but thinking how Ghazghkull is and the type of armour he's wearing, I can imagine this being like a heavy metal. So all the metallic parts are coloured in first before colouring in the top part of the head, and before actually colouring in the actual eye lens itself. So next up, we're just going to use a black paint. So in this scenario, I've used the contrast black. It's a nice heavy pigment, and it will do this job really, really nicely, just working straight from the bottle. So working off the black, using the same principles I've done with the rest of the armour. So going in with the fang first of all, and then building up my highlights with the rust grey, and then finishing off with Fenrisian grey. For the first part of the lens, I went in with Khorne red, and then started highlighting with Mephiston red. Now unfortunately when recording this, the eye didn't actually come out properly on camera, so I'm going to do another video at a later date where I'll be talking through eye lenses and how to do them properly. So the final stage of once Ghazghkull's all put together and finally finished painted, it's really important that you make sure you finish off Gaz with a couple of thin coats of matte varnish. That matte varnish is what's going to help pull all those transitions in nicely, and it's going to help the model stand out and pop a lot more on the tabletop. Thank you for watching all the episodes of How to Paint Ghazghkull. He was an absolutely awesome model to paint. Keep an eye out because I will be doing videos on how to do gems and lenses, and more importantly, how to do an absolutely stunning base for your models. Thanks again, John, for sending this model out to myself. Really do appreciate it. Ghazghkull is now ready for the battlefield. Hopefully you enjoyed this painting guide. Drop some comments down below. Don't forget to hit the likes. And of course, if you hadn't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It does help us out massively, and we really do appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all again soon.